The day started like any other: coffee, emails, the usual grind. That's when the courier knocked. A small, dusty envelope sat in his hand, addressed to me in looping handwriting I hadn't seen since childhood. My grandfather's. He had passed away 10 years ago, so how was a new letter arriving now? Inside it was a simple line: "Your land is yours now. All 1,000 acres. Use it well." I froze. I knew he owned land somewhere in the countryside, but never imagined it was that big. Attached was a property map, and that's where the real shock hit me. On that map, right in the middle of the acreage, sat a fully developed suburban neighborhood. Streets, parks, cul-de-sacs, and printed across it, HOA Community, Riverstone Estates. The entire HOA was sitting on my land. Confusion quickly turned into curiosity. Who built all this? Did they not check ownership? Could an HOA simply plant itself on someone's private acreage? I drove down the next morning. The entrance looked peaceful: clean sidewalks, trimmed lawns, bright white, HOA rules apply, signs everywhere. But the moment I stepped out of my truck, I was greeted with something else entirely: stares, suspicion, and then a sharp voice. "Sir, you can't park here. HOA property only." A woman in her 50s, clipboard in hand, sunglasses too large for her face, started writing a citation for me for parking on my land. Her tone was ice cold. "We don't allow random visitors. Kindly leave." I didn't respond. I just smiled and pulled out the deed to all 1,000 acres. She froze. "This must be a mistake," she said, voice cracking. But it wasn't. And as more residents gathered, the truth slowly sunk in. Their homes, their lawns, their streets, all built illegally, on land they didn't own. And that was the moment I knew. They had no idea what was coming next. The next day, I returned with official survey documents. Before I could even finish parking, a golf cart screeched toward me, carrying a tall man in a suit 3 sizes too tight. His badge read, "Gary Milton, HOA President." He stepped out like he owned the world. "You again," he snapped. "We reviewed your claims. And they're nonsense." I calmly handed him the official deed from the county office. Gary didn't even look at it. He simply shoved it back toward me. "You don't understand how HOAs work," he sneered. "This is our land. We maintain it. We run it. We govern it." I almost laughed. "Gary," I said, "this entire community was built without legal land rights." He puffed up like an angry rooster. "We have homeowners who have lived here for 20 years. They pay dues. They follow our rules. And we don't answer to outsiders." "Outsider," I repeated. "I'm the landowner." He snapped his fingers, and 2 HOA board members approached, their arms crossed like security guards. Then Gary said the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. "As HOA president, I forbid you from stepping foot on this property again." Forbidden. From my own property. I tried to remain calm. "You should talk to your developer. There must have been a mistake." He grinned. "There was no mistake. Our developer is long gone. Records burned in a fire years ago. No one can prove anything. But I could. Because tucked in my grandfather's old box was a faded contract, signed by the original land agents, clearly stating the land was never sold to any developer." Gary's confident smile vanished as I slowly unfolded it. "What are you going to do?" he finally whispered. I looked at the crowd forming around us, fear, anger, disbelief spreading. "I'm going to fix what should have been fixed decades ago." The HOA president swallowed hard. For the first time, he understood. This wasn't a claim. This was ownership. And their entire community was sitting on borrowed time. Rumors spread through the neighborhood like wildfire. By evening, dozens of homeowners gathered at the community center, anxiously whispering. I could hear phrases like, "Is this guy serious? Our home's illegal. Do we have to leave? Gary better fix this." Gary climbed onto the stage, trying to project power, but sweat dripped down his forehead. "Everyone, calm down," he barked. "There is absolutely no evidence." I stepped through the door. The room fell silent. I placed copies of the deed, survey maps, and old contracts on the table in front of Gary. "Go ahead," I said. "Explain how this is fraud." A woman in the front row picked up a paper with trembling fingers. "My house, my life savings, built on someone else's land." A man shouted, "Gary, how did you let this happen?" But the truth was simple. The homeowners were innocent. The HOA leadership was guilty of ignoring and hiding the land's real ownership. I spoke to the crowd calmly, clearly. You all were misled. But I'm not here to destroy your homes. I'm here to make this legal the right way. Whispers filled the room, some relieved, some terrified. One elderly man approached me. Son, I've lived here since '99. Please don't force us out. I shook my head. Sir, I won't. But things will change. There will be no more HOA bullying or illegal fines. No more power abuses. Gasps spread. Turns out, most people hated their HOA. The board extorted us for years, someone shouted. They fined me for having a slightly beige mailbox. Another yelled. They banned my truck. They banned my Christmas lights. Now I understood. This wasn't a neighborhood. It was a dictatorship. And they desperately needed liberation. By the end of the meeting, the homeowners were no longer angry at me. They were angry at the HOA. The tide had turned. The next morning, I began the legal process of reclaiming the land. The county officials confirmed everything. The HOA had zero property rights. They built on land they never owned. Their rules were invalid. Gary showed up mid-inspection, shouting like a man possessed. You can't take over, he yelled. You're ruining everything. I showed him the official county stamp. This land is legally mine. He turned red with rage. Then I'll sue you. For what? I asked. Owning my inheritance. A deputy stepped forward. Sir, you should calm down. Gary tried another tactic. Intimidation. We have power here, he hissed. Dozens of lawyers. Years of documents. But he didn't expect the county investigator to say, all your documents are void. This community was never legally approved. Gasps burst from the residents behind him. It was over. The HOA office was closed. The HOA bank accounts were seized. Every rule, every fine, every citation, void. Homeowners cheered. Some cried from relief. For the first time in years, they were free. I announced the next step. We will re-register this neighborhood as part of my land. But with no HOA, and no one will ever bully you again. The crowd erupted into applause. Gary, defeated, walked away, mumbling threats no one cared to hear. My grandfather's land, finally restored. The people, finally protected. Surveyors marked new boundaries. County workers processed paperwork. Homeowners helped one another repaint fences, fix landscapes, and redesign their neighborhood without HOA interference. The air felt lighter. Children played in yards that once required HOA-approved plants only. Trucks, RVs, and colorful mailboxes appeared everywhere. One woman approached me as I walked by. Thank you, she said softly. You saved our community. Another man added, you didn't just claim your land, you gave us back our freedom. Not long after, they invited me to a community barbecue. Families laughed. Neighbors who barely spoke before were now bonding. It felt alive for the first time. Someone handed me a small wooden plaque. To the landowner, who freed the neighborhood from the HOA tyranny. I smiled. My grandfather had always believed land should protect people, not oppress them. And now, his 1,000 acres were finally being used the way he intended. Not as battlegrounds, but as a home, a community reborn, a legacy restored. And as for Gary, he left town. No one missed him.